They say the world we live in today is the result of countless battles fought by those who came before us. Battles not with swords or kingdoms, but with nature itself. To truly understand our story, we must step back, far back, to a time when our ancestors walked a dangerous earth, a time before weapons, a time before fire belonged to man, a time when every single breath could be the last. 4.2 million years ago, early humans did not rule the world, they barely survived it. Imagine standing barefoot on soil still damp from last night's storm. The trees around you rise like towers, their thick canopies blotting out the sunlight. The forest is alive with sounds, birds shrieking, insects buzzing, and in the distance the low growl of something you pray never comes closer. You are hungry, tired, and cold. Your body aches from sleeping on the hard ground. And as the day fades, a question gnaws at you. Where will you find safety tonight? Shelter was not a luxury. It was the only thing separating life from death. Caves became the most valuable treasures of the land, not for what they contained, but for what they kept out. A deep cavern meant protection from the rain, the cold winds, and the predators that owned the night. Yet caves were never truly safe. Inside lurked venomous snakes, restless bats, and hyenas with jaws strong enough to crush bone. Entering a cave was a gamble, but without one, survival was nearly impossible. When caves could not be found, our ancestors built with what they had: branches, leaves, stones, and mud. Crude walls rose against the winds. Roofs of woven grass dripped with rain. These shelters collapsed easily, but for a brief moment, they gave families the comfort of a barrier, however thin, against the wild. Imagine huddling with your small group, clutching your kin as thunder roared overhead, praying the walls would not fall before morning. And then there was the darkness. We take for granted the glow of lights, but in this age, the night was absolute. Once the sun vanished, the forest changed. Eyes gleamed in the distance. Creatures moved silently between the trees. Every snap of a twig sent fear racing through the veins of those who could do nothing but wait for dawn. But nature held a secret, a power that would one day transform the fate of mankind. Fire. At first, fire was terror. Lightning split the sky and set trees ablaze, and our ancestors watched from afar, frightened of the furious flames, the heat, the smoke, the roar of burning wood. It was something to run from, not to touch. Yet curiosity is the oldest trait of humanity. Slowly, cautiously, they crept closer. The warmth of fire pushed away the cold. Its light cut through the darkness. Predators did not dare to cross its glow. But capturing fire was no easy task. They had no tools to spark it, no knowledge of how to create it. They waited for storms, for the rare chance to seize a burning branch from a fallen tree. Keeping it alive became a desperate struggle. A fire that burned out meant returning to the cold, to the dark, to the fear. So they guarded it, feeding it with twigs and leaves, carrying its embers carefully from place to place. Fire became more than warmth. It was survival. With fire, food changed. No longer did they have to chew raw roots and tough meat. Flames softened what the earth provided. It revealed flavors, made meals safer, and gave strength where once there was weakness. And with fire came something greater still: gathering. Families and groups huddled around the flames, their faces lit by the glow. It was there that bonds deepened, knowledge was shared, and the earliest seeds of community were born. But every gain was fragile. The world of 4.2 million years ago was ruthless. Storms tore down shelters, predators struck without warning, and rival groups fought over scarce resources. A cave could shelter you one night and kill you the next. Fire could warm you, but it could also burn you alive. Each day was a gamble, each step a risk. Yet our ancestors endured. They did not give up. They learned, adapted, and carried forward the lessons of survival. And so the struggle for fire and shelter became the foundation of humanity's journey. It was not wealth, not power, not kingdoms that shaped the first chapters of our story. It was the simple act of building a wall of branches, the desperate attempt to keep flames alive through the night, the courage to walk into the dark forest one more time in search of food. The life of those who lived 4.2 million years ago was brutal, short, and uncertain. But in that endless fight against nature, something extraordinary was born: the spirit of survival, the determination to endure, no matter the odds, the will to tame fire, to build homes, and eventually, to rule the world that once ruled over them. So the next time you sit by a fire or rest under a roof, remember, these are not luxuries. They are victories, won for you by those who struggled long before history was written, because it all began here, with the struggle for fire and the struggle for shelter.